So now we're gonna sew down here and then the other side and do a back stitch, a couple back stitches, and then go forward and then end with a couple back stitches so that it stays in place. You don't ever want to just like stitch straight this way. You want to start like here, do back stitch, and then come and then go to here and then do a back stitch. And we'll do it on both sides and then flip it inside out. I'll come back to the flipping inside out part, and you're gonna try to make sure that this is pointed in the end. I'll explain that in a second. Okay, so after sewing these, you're gonna flip it inside out, okay? And then once you have it, you're going to take like something pointy so that this end pokes out enough for you. So you put it in there and poke it, and you'll do it on both sides. And then what you need to do next is iron this. Okay, and then I'll meet you back after flipping it inside out, poking that through, and ironing just these. And then we will get to pinning the sides. So one thing I forgot to mention is you want to lay these out like this and iron them. I ironed this one, and now I'm going to iron this one like that so that when they're put together, they're not like poking out in the tie as much. They're not all bunched together. Okay, now so we're going to pin this like this. Okay, you're folding it in half like this, and you're going to pin it all the way down, okay, to the very, very end. Okay, and then you're going to end up sewing, and I'll meet you back when I'm ready to sew. Okay, now I've done a couple of back stitches already, and I'm going to sew all the way down and do back stitches at the end, and then I will meet you when I'm done with that. Okay, so I sewed it down, and now what I'm doing is the same thing I did for the other piece. I'm pushing this apart and I'm ironing it. So that's what you're going to want to do all the way down, and then you're going to end up flipping it inside out, and I'll meet you after that. So now I've turned it inside out, and I'm going to iron it down this way, try to have this line up with that. Okay, and go all the way down, and then I'll meet you back, and I'll talk about how to make a little flap thing so that you can tuck the other end into it, and then we're done. Yay, looks good. So ta-da, it looks nice. Again, I'm going to show you how to make like a little flap there, and then we will go over that. That will be the last step. I will actually talk about it, and then tomorrow morning I will make a video on it and sewing it up, and that is it for now, but I'll get out a cloth and talk about how we're going to do that as the last step. So you're going to cut a piece about yay big, and then you're going to end up sewing along here and along there and a bit here, and then turning it inside out, and then hand sewing it to the back of your tie. Now what I will not do tomorrow is actually sewing it here. I'll show what we're going to do with hand sewing it. So what you do is you sew along here, you'll sew along here, and then you'll sew a little bit here so that you can leave room to turn it inside out. Okay, and I'll show you that in a second. And then you'll iron it so it's flat, and then you will hand sew it onto the tie. Okay, now I have sewn that all around, and I'm going to turn it most carefully inside out and then iron it. Okay, so I did that. I turned it inside out. I kind of stuffed the end in so that I could hand sew that the rest of that closed, and then we're going to hand sew along the tie, and I'll show you that tomorrow. I'm going to iron this so that it looks nice and flat, and then I'll meet you back tomorrow.